Top 15 celebs you forgot appeared on WWE TV.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
15.
Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is one of the most famous women in the world right now, but one thing about her that many fans don't know is that she is a huge wrestling fan. Kim was able to live out one of her dreams back in 2008 when she became the hostess of WrestleMania 24. It was an odd decision for WWE to allow Kim to do the honors, but it seems that hosts of the show are not used a lot as part of the show anyway. Kim appeared in a backstage segment where she hyped up the Money in the Bank ladder match before she was interrupted by Mr. Kennedy. The winner of the match the previous year went on to claim that he would win it once again, while Kim attempted to keep a straight face as he shouted at her. The reality TV star was also seen at SummerSlam back in 2015.
14.
Anna Kendrick. Brittany Snow. It has become quite well known now that Lana was a successful dancer and actress before she was signed by WWE back in 2013 and was actually part of the Pitch Perfect films. Lana became friends with many of the main characters of the films, so it didn't come as much of a surprise when Anna Kendrick and Brittany Snow, along with many other stars of the films, attended SummerSlam back in 2015 to see their co-star. Lana obviously had to remain in character since she was a heel at the time, but it seems that the women enjoyed hanging out and seeing what their friend did for a living, as they were also spotted in the audience enjoying the show as fans as well. It seems that Lana is slowly turning all of her co-stars into wrestling fans. There were a number of celebs in attendance that night, including Kim Kardashian and Aaron Paul.
13.
Jeremy Piven. Jeremy Piven made an appearance on WWE TV back when the company relied on regular celebrity guests to act as authority figures on their flagship show. Piven was accompanied by Ken Jeong for his duties on Raw back in 2009, where he proved that he obviously wasn't a wrestling fan. Piven was there to make a major announcement ahead of SummerSlam, and shockingly, he didn't know that it was called SummerSlam because he referred to the show as Summerfest. Piven was obviously only there to promote his upcoming movie and the fact that he was part of Entourage, but he was able to get into the face of The Miz before setting up a match between John Cena and Miz in a lumberjack match. Piven and Ken were even able to become part of the events that night in a physical sense when he turned on Cena and attempted to attack him following his match against The Miz.
12.
Hugh Jackman. Damien Sandow was part of quite a humiliating gimmick back in 2014, where he would dress up as a different star each week and then get beaten up by a member of the roster while wearing this outfit. It was meant to embarrass him and get a cheap pop from the WWE Universe. One week he decided to dress up as Magneto and confronted Wolverine, also known as Hugh Jackman, on an episode of Raw, where he was the guest star. Magneto tried to show off his powers and they looked to be working until it was revealed that Jackman was faking and threw the microphone at him before delivering a hip toss. Ziggler then finished Sandow off with a zigzag as the duo celebrated in the ring, and Jackman was able to easily promote his upcoming Wolverine movie without having to do very much at all. This was one of the more understated celeb appearances that WWE actually managed to pull off.
11.
Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal was a well-known wrestling fan, and at one point even appeared as a guest host on Monday Night Raw, but who hasn't? It seems that Shaq decided to take things to the next level back in 2016, when he made an unadvertised appearance in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale back at WrestleMania 32. O'Neal didn't have a wrestling background, but being a giant allowed him to make quite an impact in the match, and later he was part of an exchange with The Big Show that led to speculation that the duo would be facing off at WrestleMania 33. Sadly, this match never became a reality for unknown reasons, but his appearance at WrestleMania 32 was one of the biggest shocks of the night in a match that was eventually won by Baron Corbin, who managed to sneak into the match unnoticed, since all eyes were on Shaq.
10.
10. Flo Rida. Flo Rida was in the audience for Monday Night Raw back in January 2016, when the WWE decided that, since they were in his home state, they should allow Flo to embarrass the social outcasts. But sadly, it didn't work out that way for Flo, who was the one who walked away embarrassed. The social outcasts called Flo into the ring, and when Bo Dallas delivered his lines perfectly, it came to the actual rapper, who had been performing for more than a decade, but it seems that he got a little nervous. Not only did he mess up his lines, forget most of his lyrics, and then deliver them much slower than usual, but it seemed that the WWE Universe became bored halfway through this segment, which only made Flo Rida look much worse than he already did. It's safe to say that Flo won't be accepting any more invitations to appear on WWE TV anytime soon.
9.
9. Maria Menounos. Maria Menounos has been an interviewer and commentator for over the past few years, but it was only a few years ago that it was revealed that Maria was a huge wrestling fan. Maria was then brought into WWE and allowed to team with Kelly to take on Eve Torres and Beth Phoenix as part of the pre-show for WrestleMania 28. Maria wasn't a trained wrestler, but she seemed to be in the best physical condition, and wasn't any worse than the other females in that match at the time, so Maria was able to show off her athletic ability and make quite the impact. This wasn't her last appearance for WWE, since she also played her part in the pre-show build-up to SummerSlam back in 2013. It seems that she has quite a deal with the company, because she has appeared at a number of events as an interviewer on the WWE Network, including the Hall of Fame induction ceremony earlier this year, and even as part of WrestleMania.
8.
8. Mickey Rourke. After becoming the star of The Wrestler, the WWE Universe was excited to see Mickey Rourke step into a real ring at WrestleMania 25 against Chris Jericho. The build-up to the match seemed to suggest that Rourke would be in incredible shape after being the star of the critically acclaimed movie only a few months before, and that he would easily be able to throw down against Jericho. It was Rourke who originally laid down the challenge, but it seems that he didn't actually want to go through with it. Sadly, Rourke pulled out of the match, and it was seemingly abandoned until the day of the show, when Jericho called him out anyway. Rourke was at ringside, and answered the challenge when he got in the ring, after what seemed like an eternity, and shockingly managed to floor Jericho with one of the worst punches that has ever been seen on WWE TV.
7.
7. Jon Stewart. Even the host of The Daily Show, Jon Stewart, was dragged into a WWE storyline back in 2015 when it seems that Stewart and the world champion at the time, Seth Rollins, had a number of issues between them. Their differences made for some interesting segments on WWE TV leading up to SummerSlam back in 2015, but it was the event itself that didn't make any sense. Rollins took on John Cena in a match where both the United States and the World Championships were on the line, and incredibly, despite their differences, Stewart made his way to the ring with a steel chair and attacked Cena, which helped Rollins win. Stewart later explained that he didn't want Cena to equal Ric Flair's 16 title reigns, so he did what he had to do. The WWE universe was left quite confused by this, but Stewart obviously made an impression since WWE allowed him to return with the New Day at SummerSlam in 2016.
6.
6. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Jonathan Taylor Thomas became a star in the 1990s on Home Improvement, and as the voice of Simba in The Lion King, but what many fans forget about Thomas is the fact that he once appeared as part of WrestleMania. Thomas was part of a backstage segment alongside Bob Backlund, before he was then used as the guest timekeeper for the match between Shawn Michaels and Diesel. It seems that in his younger days, the film star was a huge fan of WWE, and was then allowed to be part of the show based on his own merits. Thomas was just 13 years old when he was part of the show that was aired live back in 1995, but that didn't affect the way he did the job, which was so seamless that he has become one of the most forgotten celebrities who had cameos on WWE TV over the past few years.
5.
5. Chuck Norris. Long before Chuck Norris was known as the legitimate hard man that he is today, he was asked by the WWE to be the special guest enforcer for the match between Yokozuna and The Undertaker at SummerSlam back in 1994. Norris wasn't that much of an intimidating presence back in the 1990s, but his skills were put to the test when Bam Bam Bigelow and King Kong Bundy attempted to interfere, and the Karate Master stood his ground. Behind him, though, IRS had been able to slide into the ring and attack The Undertaker while he was distracted, which meant that his role in the entire match was essentially pointless, although we did get to see him kick Jeff Jarrett in the chest, so maybe that was worth the appearance. Chuck has since gone on to be a globally recognizable star, but not many of his fans know that he was just another celebrity who made a cameo appearance for WWE back in the day.
4.
4. Betty White. Back in 2014, the WWE thought it was a good idea to bring in Golden Girl star Betty White. Betty became the guest host of Monday Night Raw, but she wasn't considered to be one of the best people for the job. Guest hosts are supposed to be authority figures and should be able to stand their ground when it comes to cutting promos and forcing the roster into matches that they don't necessarily want to be part of. While it was great to see Betty on WWE TV, and she was seemingly happy to be part of the show as well, she was another star that appeared in the guest host era that did very little for the show except promoting herself. This was a time in WWE when ratings were experiencing something of a dip, and it seems that WWE thought that bringing in celebrities would help them improve.
3.
3. Snooki. Jersey Shore became a popular TV show almost overnight, so WWE decided that they needed to cash in on this popularity by inviting one of the stars, known as Snooki, to appear on WWE TV back in 2011. Snooki was dragged into a feud that had been brewing between Trish Stratus, John Morrison, Lay Cool, Vicky Guerrero and Dolph Ziggler when she was a guest star on Monday Night Raw in the build-up to WrestleMania, and was able to get into the ring and attack both Layla and Michelle McCool. This later led to a match at WrestleMania 27, where Snooki teamed with Trish and Morrison to face Lay Cool and Ziggler in a winning effort. Snooki was much better in the ring than she was given credit for, and was later voted WWE A-Lister of the Year at the Slammy Awards. This feud caused a lot of controversy when it was revealed that Morrison had a problem with Trish being in the match over his girlfriend Melina.
2.
2. Kevin Federline. That's right. Britney Spears' ex-husband Kevin Federline made his way to WWE back in 2006 to promote his album Playing with Fire. Whilst on the show, Federline got into physical altercations with WWE champion John Cena, who was also known to be quite the rapper. Federline was later aligned with Johnny Nitro, who was said to be friends with the star because he was from Los Angeles, so he knew all the celebrities. After months of showing up and costing Cena matches, Federline finally challenged the champion to a match on New Year's Day 2007 under no disqualification rules. Of course, Federline won the match with the help of Nitro and Umaga, but his time in WWE wasn't over. After Cena's main event match later that night, Cena finally got his hands on Federline and delivered 2 AAs to the rapper to signal the end of their feud. Federline hasn't returned to the WWE since.
1.
1. Donald Trump. Donald Trump has made a number of appearances on WWE in the past, but he wasn't the President of the United States when he agreed to face Vince McMahon in a Battle of the Billionaires match back at WrestleMania 23. Both McMahon and Trump chose a man to represent them, and the loser of the match would then be forced to have their head shaved. Vince chose Umaga, while Donald decided on Bobby Lashley. In the end it was Lashley who came out on top against the Salmon Bulldozer, but Trump tackled McMahon before forcing him into the chair and helping Steve Austin and Lashley to shave his head. Then, Austin delivered a stone-cold stunner to the current American president. It was incredible to watch a decade ago, but it's even better now knowing that the President of the United States has taken a stunner from Steve Austin.
Yeah.